But the sleep lab, we have 4 beds, and it's located here in Winsted. And that's for sleep studies. Over 45 million people suffer from sleep apnea in the United States.
Huge.
So it's almost 1 in 5 of us here in our communities. Restless leg syndrome, you know, snoring, any kind of issues that you have with sleeping. You come in and do a sleep test. You stay overnight, and they put the little monitors on you, and it's really quite fascinating. And then after that, we have physicians do evaluations, and if there's any CPAP or any types of tests that you can do or you can get to help you sleep better, we kind of fit you with that. So.
And how does someone
really
do that? They have to go through their doctor and get referred, I'm sure?
You get referred through for your doctor. So if you do have sleep apnea, if you have any issues with sleeping, talk to your doctor, or you can call the sleep lab directly, and we can help you with the resources that are out there. But it really is something that affects a lot of people. And you know, when you're tired, gosh, you know, it affects everything. So,
I think tied to obesity, not all the time, but I know that's a symptom.
Right.
And, you know, so certainly
larger folks are affected by
improving the obesity epidemic is going to help solve some of those issues as well.
It is too. So we also have, of course, throughout the community, we have our, as you know, we have our cancer center on Kennedy Drive, diagnostic center as well, and they do all kinds of tests there. Our mammography center is there as well. We have a program, a Pink Rose Fund, which actually helps folks who may not be able to afford their annual mammogram. So that's a great program. And then, of course, closer to the hospital, we have our Center for Youth and Families, and that does outreach to families and children. And then, of course, our medical walk-in, which is at the top of the hill, which is for urgent care, not to be confused with emergency care. So emergency care 24/7 at the hospital, 7 days a week, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. here in Winsted. And then our urgent care center is open 7 days a week as well. And that's for, you know, perhaps folks who might not have a doctor or may, you know, have something that they're concerned about but don't feel they need to come to an emergency. It's not an emergency.
Yeah.
So they can go there too. A lot of, you know, colds and flus and things like that too. So. So a lot of different things going on. A lot of different things that we do.
Well, must keep it interesting. Help, you know, with your role of making sure the entire community knows about all these services.
There are a lot of things going on as well. You know, the preventative health is a big part of it, and we try to get out there. One of the things that we found with the study was, you know, we talk a lot about heart disease. Of course, February is Heart Health Month, but May is Stroke Awareness Month, and so still part of the whole, you know, kind of when you think about your heart. And it's interesting, you know, over 50% of the people that live in our communities have at least one chronic disease. So over half of us are suffering from something like diabetes or heart disease or something like that. And when we talk about heart disease, women obviously are affected even more than men. Over 1/3 of the deaths through our community report of folks in our communities are due to heart disease. And it's quite a lot. Hypertension, 1 in 4 of us in our area have hypertension. So they're, you know, they have a lot going on. And 40% have high cholesterol. So these are different things. So when we do public programming, we talk a lot about that. Coming up, actually, we're having a health talk, Understanding Heart and Symptoms, Wednesday, May 8th at the hospital too. You know, this information, again, we try to get out there because people that have high blood pressure, people that are concerned with it, if you have high blood pressure in your family, like I do, you know, I'm kind of borderline hypertensive, and I don't understand it because I don't smoke, and I exercise a lot, and I try to eat right. I eat right off this plate, you know, and yet I still have, yeah, exactly. Yet I still do. I do still have a little bit of high blood pressure, and that's because, you know, it's in my family. My grandparents had it, my father has it. So folks like myself, you know, even if you're doing what you think is some of the right things, you still need to make sure you understand your family history, and you really have to keep up on it. Make sure you're doing exercise and things. So, so we try to make sure everybody knows that.
Yeah, and you know, certainly, you know, medicine or medical interventions can be required, but like you were saying, just changing your habits, your lifestyle, even just a little bit can have a huge effect. And
really,
actually, to give a small plug, we've got our next wellness challenge, team wellness challenge coming up with a Y, which we've done 4 times so far, and it's been a huge success. We actually had a guy lose 130 pounds over the last year. And he credits a lot of that to participating in the Wellness Challenge. You get a team of 4 people, and you come into the Y. Or you don't even necessarily. You don't need to come into Y. You don't even need to be a member of the Y. But you can register through the Y, and then it's an 8-week challenge where you just get points for just doing something a little bit different. It's not about losing weight. Yeah, he lost a lot of weight, but that's not the goal. The goal is just to walk more often, eat better, and just by doing things like tracking what you're eating, it has a huge effect when all of a sudden you realize what you're putting into your body.
And being on the team too.
Yeah,
when
having that
I was
support
on my team,
group.
there's 3 other people that are there, kind of, making
cheering
sure
each
you're
other
doing
on.
what you do. Yeah, it's
holding
very
your feet
true.
to the fire.
It's very true. And we have all these, the smartphones and all these apps and stuff, and there's an amazing amount of resources out there now in our digital age that are helping us track these things. And I did that for a few weeks when I was losing a little weight, and it's amazing when you start to write down, as you said, the things that you're eating. Just the fact that you're writing it down
makes you stop and think.
You almost feel guilty. It's like,
right.
I really don't want to, write these cupcakes down. So you kind of maybe limit yourself to them. It's not easy. I understand.
Yeah,
it's not easy for a lot of folks, but it's a good way to start. And there are resources out there, and there are people that are willing to help, and so that's kind of what our organizations are all about. So.
Excellent. Well, you guys are doing a lot of great work in the community.
Thank you.
And we enjoy partnering with the hospital on all these different efforts.
On the study as well, and the Fit Together. So we're going to be at the marketplace again this summer, and we're excited to be there and kind of engage the community and have them come on out, and we'll give them some good healthy tips. So should be good.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you. Well, we do have some more before we go. Right now I'd like to introduce a short segment. Last week the Y held our annual meeting where we celebrate our association and the things we've accomplished over the last year, the community members that we've been able to serve, and the staff, and especially our volunteers that have made that possible. Now the whole thing was about an hour and a half, and I wouldn't put you through all of that, although it was a fun night, so I shouldn't say that. But just, I wanted to show you a short piece that recognizes actually a couple of the volunteers that received awards that actually serve out of our Winstead branch. So without much more introduction, I'll turn it over and let you see who got our awards last week.
I would now like to introduce Board of Directors Vice President Joe Greco to present the Volunteer Spirit Award. Here's Joe. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. It's great to be here. Great to see some old friends and some old faces. Volunteers are the heart and soul of the YMCA organization. Volunteers provide a wide variety of valuable services that the Y could not afford to pay for. Volunteer opportunities range from youth coaches, teachers' aides, reading tutors, maintenance assistants, fundraisers, committee members, directors, and trustees. Tonight, we'd like to recognize several volunteers who, through their committed service, have demonstrated unended enthusiasm, spirit, and dedication in their service to the YMCA. Sally Potter. Sally, why don't you come on up? As a new member, Sally dove right into the work of her committee, taking a hands-on approach to the various initiatives and events that came along. On top of regular attendance and contributions at monthly meetings, Sally was a leader in the 2012 Strong Kids campaign effort, not only fundraising on her own, but also participating in the phone-a-thon that was held. Sally was a fixture at promotional events as well, helping to spread the word of the Y's work in the community. Sally, thank you very much. John Fisher is our next award. When the Lasers 2012-2013 winter season began without a coach in place, John committed to ensuring that the team would go on, donating countless hours of his own time to develop and lead swim team practices multiple nights per week. And when John's work schedule would not allow him to attend personally, he reached out to his various contacts to secure alternative coverage for the team, with his constant focus being on the benefit of the swimmers. Had John not stepped up, voluntarily running the team for nearly a month, it is quite possible that the season might have been lost. John, again, thank you for stepping forward.
Well, again, that was just a very small taste of the night, and only 2 of the volunteer awards out of 4 or 5 that were given out. Like you said, for literacy, for all sorts of great things, as well as awards to a number of our staff who do great work and make things happen year round. There were also, I think, for the first time, we had team awards recognizing groups that worked on our inaugural mud run last year, which we had about 500 people. We're gearing up for our 2nd annual mud run on Saturday, June 29th. If you've never done one, or you're looking to do another one, it's a lot of fun. It's a little more than 3 miles with about 20 different obstacles throughout the course. Going through mud, up over walls, doing all sorts of tasks. So it's a lot of fun.
So it's going to be earlier this year?
June 29th? It's June 29th.
It was in the fall last year.
No, it was June 30th, the same weekend.
That's right.
Yeah, but it's the first in our series of races throughout the year. So we have that one in June.
That's just fun. It's just so fun to get muddy.
It is. It's a lot of fun. And we had so many people participating last year who have never done anything like that, and they've actually become addicted. They did some more of our races, as well as going out and done other...
Do the circuit, yeah.
Do the circuit, the Tough Mudders and all those kinds of things.
That's great.
And then, so we also had groups who did our Freezing for a Reason event. A lot of people heard about that last winter. A handful of us slept out on the town green and to promote awareness of homelessness, and we ended up raising $10,000 for the homeless shelter of the Y.
It was a little chilly that night.
It was chilly, yeah.
I remember when you did that.
Could have been much worse, but it wasn't bad.
Yeah, it's great.
And we're going to do that again this year. But actually, one thing I want to make sure we mention, this Friday we've got coming up our 2nd annual Boggle Party. It's this we started to promote the importance of literacy and recognize our literacy program at the Y. We've got about 75, 80 volunteers that work with mostly adults, but also kids, teaching them how to read, English as a second language, GED preparation, and we're always looking for more volunteer tutors who want to be involved. But even with all the volunteers, there's definitely, it takes some funding to make the program happen. So this Boggle Party is a fundraiser, as well as, like I said, promoting awareness. And it's going to be Friday the 5th, this Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. And it's over at the college, Northwestern Connecticut Community College. They're partnering with us once again this year. And it's at the beautiful Art and Science Center, one of their new facilities there. With food provided by New Morning Skies Cafe. I don't know if you've been there yet. Just opened a few weeks ago down here in the center of town, so they're excited to show off what they've got. And it's also going to be sponsored by Alcoa. They're giving a grant to help fund the event and as well as the program. So we're excited about it. It should be a lot of a family-friendly event. Who doesn't like Boggle? You mix up the letters, see what words you can find. I love playing with my kids. So we invite people to come on out and enjoy that. But I wanted you, before we go, to just mention again the website in case people want to go look for some of this information.
All the information we have is at charlottehungerford.org. And there's an events section where you can look up all these events. There's a hotline that you can give us a call. There's also, down in the bottom, there's support groups, education. So if there's a support group that you're looking for, we have them all listed. A lot of them meet at the hospital, a lot of them, but they're all on there. Certainly if you need a doctor referral or anything else on there. So charlottehungerford.org, it's a great site.
I'm sure there's a lot of good resources there.
Yeah, it is, and I think I encourage folks to do that. And if you tweet, I've been trying to tweet. And so if that's the way you like to communicate, we'll tweet to you as well. So
excellent.
Definitely sign up.